What happened to the show? Oh, it's showing me on the side. What's up, guys? Can you hear me? Guys! Here we go! It's 9:02 a.m. Hake is late. The late report. The late report. Hake, you're late and black. What's up with that? It is Monday, August 23rd, 2021 AD. I was unprepared. It's all my fault, guys. All my bad. My bad. Sound is bad, says HydroPX, but that's probably from the side camera. Now it's probably fine, is my guess. Press 1 if the sound is fine now. Got to make sure that that's good. Yeah, what a mess. TheHakeReport.com. I was telling the audio podcast, audio live stream listeners to check out Church with J.C. Lee Peterson. It's always excellent. I have a fun little loosey-goosey show for you. Where's my punk music? Asks Johann Badenhorst. And I'm probably butchering his name. You guys can call in. But I do have a hand-picked song for you guys. It is a new week. This group is called Johnny Respect. Anybody remember Johnny Respect? And it is somewhat punk rock, I guess. Pretty fast-paced. So that part of it is sort of punk. So this song is called Time Marches On, and it's from the album, 1998 album, I believe. Life Ain't What It Used to Be. I know there's no such word as ain't, but they're punks. Gotta cut them some slack. Life Ain't What It Used to Be, 1998. Time Marches On is the name of this song from Johnny Respect. And it's not too long, so I'll talk you through it. Cover your ears, guys. Hit the mute. And those of you who are willing to listen, please do and enjoy. Lyrics will be on screen too, hopefully. A song? Oh, good. How's the volume? 1 for great, 2 for too loud, 3 for too quiet. 4 for please mute. Johnny Respect has no respect, says Evgeny Crosby. Whatever. So good. Singer sounds like Fat Mike, says Dan Clifton. Fat Mike? Is that the NoFX guy? Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Some of you guys say, oh, this all sounds the same. They sound like cover bands covering each other. Whatever. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. That wasn't bad, says, who said that? Said Code Nation. Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys bearing with me through my excellent music. The drummer has great timing, says red-blooded Republican Trump supporter. All these songs sound the same. Fake aggro. Interesting comment from Ricky Retardo, referring to my appearance. Did you catch my appearance on the Jesse Lee Peterson show earlier today? The Jesse Lee Peterson show? He interviewed a couple of people called Paul and Morgan, a couple of YouTubers. They have 100-something thousand subscribers. They consider themselves to be conservative Christians, and they covered the experts segment some weeks back, or maybe a week or two ago, in which I should say, Skateboard White Chris and Anchor Baby Nick and we are some of the experts. Daniel also, but Daniel I don't think was in this segment. Talked about the fact that women should not be getting an education. This is not a good thing. I said they're already conceited enough as it is. And this only feeds that vain conceit. Just look at them. Yeah. And look at the results. What a mess. People have done studies. I heard that the great John R. Lott Jr., PhD, of crime prevention research, crimeresearch.org, crimeresearch.org. He's appeared on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, but I heard he did a study years ago, that women voting has been the single contributing factor to the so-called progressivism in America, meaning our steady decline into communism and degeneracy, moral degradation. And let's just look at the results, but also look at common sense and the nature of things. What do men lead, women don't lead, at least not well. Ricky Retardo, though, says, over there on D-Live, shout out to D-Live. Thank you guys for staying true. Ricky _Retardo, says the Hake Report, or to Hake, you got served by Morgan, bro. Morgan being the woman. What happened to you? Ricky, I don't know what you mean by, but he does admit Morgan's tattoos are cringe. He's not a fan of Morgan's tattoos. It's a young Christian couple. And he's not a fan of her tattoos, but he thinks that I got served by Morgan. In what way did I get served? You have to let me know. You'll have to let me know. I don't know. I don't understand how I got served by Morgan. Served means like she beat me in the argument or something, right? I don't think so, man, but maybe you're just simping. Or maybe you saw something I don't. DeWhite says the music's first few notes sounded racist. Think you might lose more viewers with this, Hake, says LJ. I know, I think of that sometimes too. But a lot of them love me anyway. They love me so much that they'll bear with the music, or they'll just hit mute, or they'll just hit fast forward, or they'll wait till the timestamps come out. I make timestamps. And all that stuff. This band needs a new drummer and bassist and guitarist and singer, says Slappy McButterballs. But one person says that the drummer has great timing, and I agree with that. But quite a fun show for you guys. Loosey-goosey show. Hope you had a nice weekend. I definitely did. You can call in 888-775-3773. But first, second. Okay, first I'm going to talk about the FDA. But second, don't let me forget to talk about the attack on the Americans. Decent Americans. Today is the day that the great Owen Shroyer was set to turn himself in to the feds, the federal police. Local police, much more trustworthy than feds, but even the local police are not entirely trustworthy because society has gotten so weak and corrupt. Has it not? So corrupt. Richard TX with the super chat says, good job calling out the Bible thumpers on their PC Bible. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you, Richard TX. Their politically correct Bible. Yeah, he was quoting from the NIV. And I grew up reading the NIV. And I hear that they have like apologies about stuff that God tells the Israelites to do in the Old Testament. Stuff like that. So thank you, man. Yeah, it's a very politically correct world. And the people who are relying on the Bible, they're no more grounded, they're no more anchored to what God really means than the people who are blindly groping about in the dark. You have to always be wary, be self-controlled and alert, because he'll deceive anybody that he can. So I'm going to talk about the attack on Owen Shroyer, and it's some of the so-called American people who I think they're probably American citizens are cheering this on too. That's part of what's disgusting about it. Owen Shroyer, if you're not familiar, and then I'll get to this, but Owen Shroyer is a host on InfoWars.com. He's been censored a lot because InfoWars is pretty popular, and anything popular, they try to shut it down, especially if it doesn't fall in line with what the establishment wants. The establishment it's evil right now. I don't know if it ever hasn't been evil. I think at our founding, our establishment was pretty good. I'm sure that there was some evil in there as well, but I couldn't tell you which ones. It didn't concern me because I wasn't around back then. But I heard it announced when Jesse Lee Peterson was being interviewed by Owen, just by the way. I think that was that on Friday? Yeah. Friday afternoon, he said, I just got word I'm going to be arrested, or I have to turn myself in. They put out a warrant for my arrest because he appeared at the Capitol. He didn't even go into the Capitol, according to what I've heard. I'll get to that. But the FDA, guys, because I have some news for you from the FDA, Food and Drug Administration of the United States of America. I consider it to be corrupt. Anything in the bureaucracies of America, you can pretty much count on them being corrupt, especially because there's a big stake in that power that they wield and the perks that they have, too. Dr. Anthony Fauci, I heard, is the highest paid. He's not in the FDA, he's in the NIH. Same thing. But I heard, the highest paid, I was about to say most highest, the highest paid person in the government employee. Ridiculous. What value has he provided? Other than being an old, but relatively fit for being that so old, weaselly male. What a mess. What a mess. I think he's just a spokesman. He's essentially a spokesman to me. I don't think that he's I don't think that he's such an expert that you should be trusting him. And I saw another YouTuber who pointed out, his name is Barricade Garage. He pointed out, you go to the experts, the car experts, the auto mechanics, and they look for something that you have to fix. Oh my gosh, you got to fix this. You can't just wait. Every now and then you will get some honest ones. But oftentimes, they will overcharge you, overdiagnose your vehicle as having issues because they're on a kick. They got to make their money. And not all of them are honest. In fact, probably most of them are not. So it's a mess. But anyway, headline, U.S. drug regulators approve Pfizer's China virus vaccine. And I've been talking for weeks about how this is not fully approved. These different vaccines are not fully approved, and they're so-called vaccines. They changed the definition of vaccine to still be able to so-called accurately call these vaccines vaccines. But it's the Pfizer one specifically that was approved. The Moderna one, I guess not. AstraZeneca, I don't know what the difference is between Moderna and AstraZeneca. And the Johnson & Johnson so-called vaccine, which is a single dose, doesn't change your DNA supposedly. They are not fully approved. They're only approved under emergency use authorization, which means they haven't really looked into them fully. I don't believe that the FDA has looked into the Pfizer one fully because it's been less than a year since it was made. It was made it was ready to go like October, I heard. Pretty much ready to go in October. But they said, Pfizer, being liberals, establishment pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, they said, we don't want to influence the election. Because Trump being successful with making a vaccine, although it may not buy your vote, maybe you were already voting for Trump regardless, or maybe you weren't going to vote for him regardless, but it would buy some people, it would be like, wow, competence. Man, Trump really is competent. He really does what he said that he was going to do. I heard that Trump got booed for for touting that he made the vaccine because he had a Trump rally in Alabama. Trump, they loved him, but then they were kind of quiet, and some even, I think, booed. That's what I heard. Anomaly said that. He's a little bit biased himself, maybe, but I think that he's an honest witness. And so Pfizer said, we don't want to influence the election. In other words, we don't want to help Trump by putting out the truth that it is ready to go into whatever, production or whatever, for under this emergency use, right? And so they backstabbed him. They backstabbed our real president, Donald J. Trump. Trump is a loser, says Ricky Ritardo. Okay, all right. I'm seeing a little bit more from you, Ricky Ritardo. I'm getting where you're coming from. No, I still wonder what he's thinking. How Morgan served me. But so I was thinking, is it just my impression that Pfizer is corrupt, or have they been alleged to be corrupt for a long time? I know in general that the deep state has an agenda of self-importance. They think that they're so important. The deep state being the bureaucracy, the unelected bureaucrats who are running the country, running Joe Biden, undermining our real president, Donald J. Trump, and everything else. I heard that even the deep state, speaking of the deep state, this is a different department in the deep state, they were undermining Trump's efforts to pull us out of Afghanistan and to pull us out of this and that Middle Eastern country, right? Because Trump wanted to end endless wars. And I heard that the CIA, which another very similar to the FDA, as an establishment, self-important, corrupt bunch of liberals, suckers, no smarter than you or me. And we are not smart, but they are more evil, or they are evil, period. And power does expose the corruption of the heart, right? That the CIA fabricated that. Remember that Russian bounties story? Russians were paying bounties to the Taliban or something like that to kill American soldiers or something. That was a Russian bounties thing, and all the Trump suckers fell sucker to this thing. And I'm like, I don't buy that. And even some people within the deep state or some people within Trump's administration were like, this is kind of unproven. This is unproven. I heard that may have been fabricated by the CIA. And they were lying to Trump about, oh, we're pulling troops out, and they weren't. Oh, I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but they're pulling shenanigans. Shenanigans. There are many different types of shenanigans. So I went on the far left Enemies of America website. It's a search engine called Google. And it's such a dominant establishment search engine that they turned it into a verb, Google it. And so I Googled, under their own far left Enemies of America, liberal, pro-FDA at right now, website, FDA corruption. 2018, Science Mag. And this is an article, Hidden Conflicts? Question mark. Pharma payments. Pharma as in pharmaceutical company. Payments to the FDA advisors after drug approvals spark ethical concerns. Why would that be an ethical concern? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because FDA advisors are getting payoffs to approve a drug? Seems unethical to me. Seems like they might have a conflict of interest. By the way, Big Bump is saying, speaking of the FDA approval, FDA's Janet Woodcock failed to stop the opioid epidemic. And that was an article out in February of this year. And it's an opinion piece by Gerald Posner. Drug manufacturers such as Purdue might have ignited the deadly opioid crisis, according to them, right? According to this mainstream USA Today article, right? The FDA was instrumental in allowing the epidemic to play out. That's according to them. And wasn't the FDA what came up with this, you should eat more bread than anything? They were telling us to eat bread. And now people are saying, oh, bread has a lot of carbohydrates and it's starch. You shouldn't have starchy foods. 2013, Harvard University, they have this one branch that's called the Center for Ethics. It's named after somebody, right? Risky drugs. Why the FDA can't be trusted. 2013. By Donald W. Light. And it's talking about risky drugs. The bar for safe is low, they said. Over the past 30 years, approved drugs have caused an epidemic of harmful side effects, even when properly prescribed. 2016, Citizens Commission on Human Rights, which CCHR. I've never heard of them. And human rights is typically a communist buzzword. I know some of you guys think that you're human rights activists. But in general, it's a globalist, socialist, anti-American buzzword to promote LGBTQ madness, to promote the fake idea of racism, to just take from the whites and give to the POCs. And they talk about psychologist says FDA is corrupt, and they want to ban something called electroconvulsive therapy. Wikipedia, the far left enemies of America, Wikipedia. Well, I mean, it's kind of like crowd done, right? Wikipedia, anybody can contribute almost. Certain articles, some of them you're locked out of. But it has a huge liberal bias. They cut out Daily Mail, Daily Caller, Breitbart, when those are every bit as trustworthy as, or untrustworthy as any of the mainstream media. The mainstream media is corrupt, but that's Wikipedia for you. They buy what the mainstream media says. They think that's what establishes notability, if the mainstream media has covered it. Criticism of the Food and Drug Administration, charges of over-regulation, charges of under-regulation, charges of FDA bias and undue pharmaceutical company influence, pharmaceutical industry influence. And they even have allegations of bias against gay men in blood donation process. So that's a mess. You're gonna get corruption even in the accusations of corruption. Even the accusations of corruption are corrupt, right? So that just tells me that I'm not so sure that this full FDA approval, I don't know, look into it for yourself. See what they say. See what you think. See what you think. See what your doctor says, if you have a doctor that you trust. If you have a mechanic that you trust. And listen to common sense, right? Anyway, I'm going to talk about this Owen Shroyer mess, the Afghanistan mess, the border mess. It's a major attack on Americans. It's ridiculous. Anyway, first, though, let me get to Thomas in Canada. He wants to talk about this educated women thing. Thomas, how are you doing?
Hey, Hake. Happy Men's History Month.
Thank you, man. Happy Men's History Month to you again as well.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to talk about the women, Jesse was so right when he was talking about all women being evil.
Yeah.
Especially the Christian women, the so-called Christian women.
Yeah, it's so true, because they think that they know what they're talking about, and they don't. They have a false confidence.
Yeah, and those are the worst, actually. The girl that was on the show recently, she was purely evil.
You're talking about from the Jesse Lee Peterson show, just where I made my appearance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. when they were saying that she was being asked if women were equal to men, and she didn't, she was fading away. Even her husband wasn't even answering the question.
Yeah. You know,
That's
and
crazy.
equality, they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
God
I know.
loves
I
them
know, yeah.
both the same. Like, what does that even mean? They
Yeah.
don't know what they're
God-
talking about. It's just an
Yeah, yeah,
emotional
yeah.
thing. It's an emotional
it's-
buzzword to deceive the intellect.
Yeah, especially equality is a communist term
Yeah, it really is.
because we're
And
not equal.
that's actually equal is a Satan word. It's what the serpent told Eve. You would be equal with God. God doesn't want you to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because then you would be equal with him. They wanted to be equal with God, equal with the man, equal with God, but there's no such thing. That's chaos. It's hell.
You're absolutely right.
That's interesting,
yeah.
man.
So I wanted to talk to you about that, but also I wanted to talk to you, especially in Canada, the Christian women at my church are. You think that they would go and become good wives, but actually they're evil, because they hide in their facade of Christianity and oh, you're all nice and stuff, until like stuff doesn't go their way, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd maybe, even me in my experience, I'd rather maybe have like an atheist woman that I change afterwards and she becomes Christian, you know? Not this fake like, oh, I'm all nice, I love God, whatever. And then she acts as though she's submissive to you, but that's her way to control you.
Wow. I mean, there is a lot of pretending going on. I was talking with one man at the men's conference who said that any woman that you get with will, or oftentimes, right, will pretend to agree, will act like she agrees the whole time. She'll agree with you the whole time until you get married. And then it's constant challenge and challenge and argument.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was right. Jesse was right when he said the Christian women are the worst. Really, he's on point in a lot of...
But I don't think it's wise to go for an atheist and think that you're going to change her.
No. That's not what I mean. I made the comparison just to understand what you... But yeah.
It's kind of like the educated women. The educated women, they think that they know stuff, and they get tempted into that intellect all the more, and they try to question, and they don't really listen to understand. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like when you argue with somebody who is not even trying to understand, and they just completely mischaracterize what you're saying. Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. Are you dating right now?
No.
Right on.
I used to have a girlfriend, and we fornicated and whatnot.
What a mess.
And it was before marriage. I was actually 16 years old.
Dang. Was she older than you or younger than you?
She was younger than me.
Oh, okay.
And I left because...
But roughly the same grade, or both in high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
and I left her afterwards after 2 years because it was a mess, because my soul told me to leave.
At 18 you left her? At 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And since then, it's amazing. Life has been amazing because I'm not having sex out of wedlock.
Nice.
And I've seen how much the sex was controlling me. So before breaking up, I stopped for like a couple of months the sex.
Yeah.
And that gave me the strength to break up.
Nice. Right on, man.
Yeah.
That's good. And, you know, I've heard from like wise men that men who have had that in their past, because so many men, probably most men have that in their past, they can become better and more innocent than even like a man who never has. Because you can become, because by repenting, you're no longer just naive, you get your innocence back if you are born again.
And you see you've experienced the evil, so it makes it easier for you to not go there.
You're right. Nice, man.
Yeah.
How old are you right now?
I'm 21.
Wow. I didn't realize you were just 21.
Yeah, I'm 21, and I've experienced all of that stuff in my life right now. Plus the jail time.
Oh, right. But that's not even like a criminal jail thing. That's just like the criminal system.
False accusation.
Criminal system going after you. What a shame.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
interesting,
fight.
man. What's that?
I'll fight for what's right.
Yeah. But stay right.
I don't know if. Do you know Richard, Trevor's friend?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
I sent him
From
the
Bros and
picture of-
Cons?
Yeah. I sent him a picture of me on the highway with the big American flag before Trump was was actually going to get in office, like potentially. And he said, "Oh, that's amazing." I went in, and that's what got me arrested because they thought I was a threat to like people because I was like really open about my American opinion.
Wow.
But you can see it on Google.
Was that way back when you were like 17 or something like that?
No, that was before this year, before the election.
Oh, okay. So before the re-election.
Yeah, you can see it on Google.
Nice, man.
They got me on Owen, One American News Network.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
How do people find that? I'm curious.
So it's Thomas. My name is Thomas. Thomas.
You're gonna dox yourself?
Oh.
Well, do you know what it is to dox yourself, right? Before you dox yourself, know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to dox yourself.
Okay. So whatever.
I mean, it's totally up to you. It's totally
show.
up to you. But I don't necessarily encourage it.
Okay, but I don't think it's a problem, honestly. But we'll stay safe.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate hearing from you. Send me the email. Send me an email so I can see it at least.
What's your email, actually?
The Hake Report at gmail.com.
All right, perfect.
Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Wow. Oh, did you know that we are at August 23rd, September 14th is a recall election for the state of California. And that is for the governor, state of California. We have a beta governor right now. Thomas is the best name on this side of heaven, says Tom New. Oh, okay, he would say that. But actually, that's happens to be Jesse Lee Peterson's favorite name too, I think. Thomas. It's a manly name. But listen, this election is happening September 13th, and something that I heard from an independent journalist was that the main thing that you do as a voter, never mind who you vote for, what you vote with this question, should the governor be recalled? The answer is yes. Make sure that yes is voted for. And then don't let it be peeking through if you happen to do the mail-in, which I don't really encourage. But if you do, that's fine too. But I'm not going to mail it in. I'm planning to go in person. Anyway, let me get to Mark in Santa Monica, California. How are you doing, Mark?
Very good, sir. Happy Men's History Month.
Thank you. Right on.
Yeah, the reason for the call, I hope I'm wrong here, but I saw Newt Gingrich on, I think it was Newsmax over the weekend. And I hope, again, that he's wrong and I'm wrong. But he says that the fix is in for this recall, that Harris, the devil vice president, the evil woman, third world piece of trash, she's coming. She's coming to California. I think it's this week to raise money for Newscomb. But basically, according to Gingrich, her purpose for coming out here and ignoring the border, it's going perfect for her. What's happening is at the border is their plan.
Are you on a speakerphone or something? You're coming in a little muffled, and it's coming in a little harsh.
Sorry. Is that better?
No, you sound like you are on speakerphone, and you sound far away.
How's that?
That's much better. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Anyway, Newt Gingrich said that her purpose of coming to California is to fix the election. They're going to have the same exact type of voting as they did in the Trump election.
Yeah.
Where they have people pick up the vote.
Right.
And throw them away.
I saw a ballot drop box. I went and visited the Rose Bowl over the weekend just to take a little stroll. And I saw a ballot drop box already. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. The cheat is on.
Well,
but
don't listen to Newt Gingrich. He is, although I kind of like the guy, he is a full-blown open neocon. neocon meaning he's a globalist. He's not for American sovereignty. And he
I agree.
he actually says this, and he's maybe a little bit more honest than the other neocons because he is open about it. He says that we need to be more honest about it. But he doesn't know, he's not God, and nor is that evil woman capable of overruling the will of God. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, she knows how to steal an election. I think that's what he was saying.
She is not as competent as you or he might think.
I agree. I don't disagree.
Don't lose heart. We can fight, but yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to win, who's going to lose, how much they're going to be able to pull shenanigans or not. But
I've already voted by mail,
nice.
And I know it could. I know that it could be fixed. I voted for Elder, and I put yes on do we want to recall this creep. But you should know that Newt Gingrich does favor Elder for what it's worth. I mean, he supports Elder, but I don't know where he's coming from.
Right. But I mean,
it was,
Newt is an establishment guy, and Larry Elder has protected his reputation and stayed fairly establishment friendly, honestly. And that you can have your opinions on that, but I still like the guy.
Yes,
and
I got one.
He's a man of. He projects some competence, and confidence, which I don't see in the other guys yet.
Well, here's my question on Elder. Well, and I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to throw this out. Do you think he will reverse the driver's licenses for illegals in this state?
I don't know the answer to that. I would think that he would be for reversing that because it's insane. I do like the fact that he has sort of a lawyer's background, so he won't just sign off any willy-nilly thing and then they sneak something by him. So if he were to win, which he may, some people say he has no chance, but I say that we have a chance because the main thing is voting yes, get Newsom out, and he will be out, and then from there we can figure out who's going to take over.
I got a question for you. What if some dopey guy votes yes and then goes down the ballot thing and votes for Newsom? Are they just going to throw it out?
I don't know if Newsom is on the ballot if he votes. He's on the ballot in the sense that it's a no, don't get him out. I think that's the only way he's on the ballot. I'm not sure, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, though. I haven't even really looked at the ballot. But there are a lot of dopey people. You are right, but I think as far as the recall candidates go, I think Elder has the best chance.
I hope so. I really do. I don't see any commercials that favor Larry Elder or anybody against Newsom. I don't understand that.
The LA Slimes put out an article. I don't know if you guys saw this. That called Larry Elder. He's the black face of white supremacy.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was a black female, a negress female that wrote that, and so it should be taken with a big grain of salt. So
I mean, the whites who don't hate whites, they like Larry enough. They like Larry Elder enough, and so.
Do you think he'll get a lot of black votes, Elder?
He'll get
because
some.
He's black?
He'll get some. Yeah, not just because he's black, but partly because he's black. There are a lot of blacks who still think like that. It's ridiculous. But even that guy who hates white people who calls into my show, from Joe from Phoenix, actually he's just a mean, nasty, malicious, female-minded person. But he said that he would even, if he were a Californian, he would vote for Larry Elder.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust anything that snake says.
True, but there are a lot of so-called black conservatives who do still harbor that hatred for whites and believe that racism is a real thing and all that stuff, who would support Larry Elder. And I'll take it.
I don't see anything from what I've heard from that Joe guy. I've never heard him say anything conservative.
I know.
What's conservative about that fool?
He has called in and talked about responsibility a little bit. He's given a little bit of that lip service stuff to responsibility and stuff like that.
That's all it is lip service. Farrakhan says the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Louis Farrakhan, and I'm not 100% against Farrakhan
Right.
on some issues. And I'm not
He
saying everything.
mixes a little bit of truth with a lie. The main lie that Farrakhan touts is anger. You don't have a right to be angry, but he believes in anger. And that man, if you read The Antidote, his mother tried to abort him with a coat hanger. He never got over that.
I never heard that.
Yeah, I think it's a fact.
I didn't know, but it's believable.
Yeah. He sounds like he knows and has never gotten over that his mother tried to abort him with a coat hanger. He's taking it out on white people.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that. The worst thing I heard about Farrakhan was that he was involved either directly or indirectly with Malcolm X's assassination.
He was gloating. I saw him gloating about that. Days after that occurred, I think they had like a little bit of a rivalry going, and Malcolm X was breaking away a little bit from it because I think he was kind of exposing how Elijah Muhammad or whatever that guy was sleeping around or something, maybe?
Yes. He had children with many Muslim women. Muhammad did. One thing I'll say about Muhammad, though, Elijah Muhammad, he was a strident anti-communist.
Right.
And he was against race mixing.
Okay.
So I got to give him props on that.
Yeah.
And but other than that, I know he is a white hater. So how much can you love a guy like him?
Yeah.
One other thing, and I'll let you go. One black man in history stands out as a patriot. You may not have ever heard of him before. His name was Marcus Garvey.
I've heard that
wanted the blacks to go back to Africa, but the rich establishment industrialists put him in prison. He was a black Moses ready to lead his people out of this country. Marcus Garvey was. So I just wanted to give him props.
Huh. Okay.
Look him up. He's a good man.
I've heard that name. And did Marcus Garvey, does anybody know? Anybody old enough? Because there was speculation that Obama's real father was not Barack Obama Sr., but was it Marcus Garvey? People were saying stuff like this.
No,
maybe it was somebody
Marcus
else.
Garvey lived in the 20s.
Oh, okay.
So he would have been too old for that creep.
All right.
But one last thing about Garvey, he did work with the KKK. I mean, he didn't make any bones about it. He wanted to work out a separation plan. Garvey did, but again, he was a Muslim too. He was imprisoned by the industrialists before his plan could come to fruition.
Oh, okay. So, wow.
I'm
confused with Frank Marshall Davis. Okay. Frank Marshall Davis, the communist.
Yeah.
People thought that Frank Marshall Davis was the real father of Barack.
Oh, that could be. I mean, the guy's, he's got the seed of Satan in him anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay,
anyway.
Mr. Hake, God bless you. It was good talking to you, and I will stay in touch.
Sounds good, Mark. Appreciate it. Take care.
God bless. Bye.
Bye. Quickly, let me get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Let him respond. I just saw he has a response to Mark. Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Happy Men's History Month. Are you there, Joe? Joe once. Frank Marshall Davis.
But I'm here.
Okay, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, James.
Make sure you mute the volume of the show. I'm hearing the show.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, Frank
All
Marshall
right.
Davis,
So-
the alleged commie father of Obama. Thank you, Big Bump.
Listen, James.
yes.
This guy in California, I mean, he couldn't give you any more proof, buddy. He's just clearly a neo-Nazi.
What are you talking about? What's a neo-Nazi, first of all?
Someone who subscribes to National Socialist ideas and follows the original Nazi party of Germany. He's clearly a clown and an idiot.
You think that he subscribes to nationalist, socialist ideas?
100%. He's giving you a ton of clues.
Okay.
From George Lincoln Rockwell
right.
report to now Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was a total fraud.
Oh, really?
Of mail fraud, and the only reason he likes him is because he wanted to repatriate back to Africa, and he raised a ton of money and took it for himself instead of organizing a return to Africa.
Okay. And so that's Nazi to you? There's a whole lot of people who support going back to Africa and segregation who are not Nazis.
James, you're not listening.
Go on.
Everything he says, the only reason he liked Garvey is because he wants black people out of America, and his support of Lincoln Rockwell, the founder of the American Nazi Party, period. And everything
which he says,
14 words.
I don't think that he's ever cited the 14 words. That was a different guy.
No, that was him.
It was. I'm telling you, I know I'll ask him to confirm next time. But I'm telling you, that was somebody else who cited the 14 words. That was a guy named Solomon.
Perhaps I'm wrong about that, but this guy says the same exact rhetoric as neo-Nazis.
Well, just because it's the same rhetoric as supposed neo-Nazis who they never called. I don't know anybody who's called themselves a Nazi other than that guy who died, George Lincoln Rockwell.
James, you're just collaborating.
I'm still hearing my voice. Like, I'm still hearing the radio. Mute the volume there.
Is that better?
It might be better now. Yeah, so,
all right.
But they're like blacks, but you're not attacking the ideas, you're just labeling the ideas in order to attack. You're not attacking the ideas themselves.
Okay.
I'm still hearing it in the background. It's slightly distracting, but I like you. So I'm keeping it.
Gosh dang it, stupid computer.
What are the 14 words, asks Drew Kuf. If you're not familiar with the so-called 14 words, it was put out by this guy who was into the white thing, who said we must secure the existence of our people and the future for white children or something like that. And
correct, yeah.
There's nothing inherently wrong with those words, but it was made by a guy who was angry, apparently. I mean, he was accused of participating in an assassination of a liberal communist Jewish journalist or something like that. And so that part is evil.
A radio host.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, man, what's wrong? Let's go point by point. What's wrong with the supporting sending blacks back to Africa?
Because listen, this is our country too, James. It's not just a white country.
Right.
All right.
But what's wrong with it?
Black people have bled, fought, and died for this country every bit as much as white folks in every single war. So, trying to get rid of black people, yeah, that's wrong.
But he supports a man who is black, and he wants to convince other blacks to do it.
James, you're missing the point, buddy. The only reason he wants is to get rid of black people, not because this is some kind of
But why are there whites who are sick of black people in America? What makes them sick?
Again,
isn't it the same thing that you get sick of these people?
Big difference between N-words and black people, James. Again, like Chris Rock said, nobody hates or can't stand N-words more than good, decent, hardworking black folks.
I have not seen proof of that.
No, 100%. You kidding me? And that's why I love Cosby so much. And that's why
maybe the hatred is what's not right then. If you guys hate the N-words, then that's what's also causing problems, because you shouldn't hate the N-words.
Well,
you know, you shouldn't hate anybody.
Hate was just, again, it's a joke from Chris Rock.
I know.
I'm saying nobody can't stand the N-words more than good, decent, hardworking black folks.
I mean, you guys suffer the most. I mean, the ones who have to live around them suffer the most from them. And that's why when I was growing up, it was the Asians and the Hispanics who hated the N-words more than me, because I didn't grow up around a bunch of N-words. They did.
Well, listen, there's certainly a caste system among white folks, too. There's plenty of
who have to deal with the N-words, right?
Well, but who have to deal with lower income whites and
it's not about income, man. This is why I call you a commie or an atheist, because it's not about income. It's not the income that causes them to be immoral. It's the immorality that causes them to be so-called low income and causes them to do the crime.
Well, we disagree there, Jen.
It's a vicious circle.
If you look across the prison system, color apart, every single, inmate comes from a single mom family, low income, low education, or no education. That's not a coincidence, James.
Correlation is not causation. Poverty does not cause crime.
It certainly is a factor in it.
Does not cause crime. It's not a factor in causing crime.
Well, we disagree about that, but that's okay.
I told you you're a commie. You are a materialist.
I'm a realist, James.
That's not realistic.
100% realistic.
No, it isn't. It's not a cause. It's a correlation. It's not a cause, man. The heck? I thought you were logical. Just kidding. But you present as though you're logical, and you're not being logical by thinking that crime causes poverty. I'll tell you that.
We can agree on that for sure. Yeah.
And then it becomes a sort of a vicious circle. I understand, like even the Bible says.
But then you're agreeing with me.
No. Hold on. The Bible even says, "Don't let me be so poor that I'm tempted to steal bread, or let me be so rich that I forget God." Mm-hmm. And so, of course, like human weakness has the temptation and stuff like that. But these people who are selling drugs, that's on an easy come up. They want the easy way because they're poorly raised. You even mentioned some of the factors that are closer to the cause themselves. The mothers are raising violent children. Mothers raise rapists.
Is this a well-established, provable fact that felons come from single mom homes far more than two-parent homes? Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that you have a actual disagreement. It's just that you buy into this boogeyman of racism, white racism, Nazi stuff. I think it's all a propaganda thing. And
James, you have never, ever heard me say that I blame white folks for anything or that I hate white folks for anything. Absolutely not.
I know, but you buy into the racism thing. You buy into it so much so that you think
calling it evil rather than racism is just semantic game.
No, it isn't. It is not. Because oftentimes...
It 100% is. Because, listen. Hatred and evil deeds done because of skin color is racism.
It shows me that you are still shallow because it's not because of the skin color that they're doing it. It's not because of the race that they're doing it. It's because of another factor, and then they say, I notice that blacks oftentimes act this way. Therefore, profiling is reasonable.
Or the N-words. Big difference there, James.
But there's
black
N-words
folks are not one big monolith.
I know, but N-words are still blacks, and if it's happening more often among the blacks, then it's reasonable to have a little bit of risk assessment. Let's say.
Not reasonable. Again, James.
Yes,
I've
it
said
is.
to you 1,000 times that white-collar crimes are done by college-educated white men.
Supposedly.
And it would be absolutely foolish of me to say that, because college-educated white men commit most white-collar crimes, that most white people are embezzlers or liars or fraudsters. That's just stupid thinking, James.
Nobody ever... That you're saying something that I didn't even say. You're straw-manning. You're scarecrowing my argument.
I'm comparing your argument to...
No, I'm telling you risk assessment.
100% the same thing.
No, it's not. I just told you risk assessment. Have
So
you ever heard of risk?
Illogic
Hold on, Joe. Have you ever heard of risk assessment? Because you're not listening. You're just jumping to conclusions about what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of risk assessment?
Of course, James.
And do you understand what that means?
Of course. James.
That means I don't know if this is a criminal I'm coming up on in the street, but let me just take a precaution and stay away. Protect myself. That's called risk assessment.
Okay, so again, using that same illogic, I should always...
No. Go ahead.
So, using your same illogic, I should distrust most white people and think they're fraudsters and embezzlers and liars because of most white-collar crimes committed by college-educated white guys. Does that make sense to you, James?
When you compare it, the whites tend to be more honest. But yes, nowadays you can't trust anybody.
Well, we can agree that you shouldn't trust
anybody,
sadly. But again, I think you see my point. You just don't want to admit it.
No, I see your point, but you're
foolish.
missing mine. Here, let me tell you one more thing. When adjusted for income and family status, government stats still show that blacks are committing crimes at far higher rates than all other racial groups, even when you account for the poor and single mother whites and poor and single mother Asians and Hispanics.
I would have to see that data. I've never heard that before. Because what I've seen is that when you correct for income and education, the stats get much more even.
It helps a little bit, for sure. It does help a little bit to even it out, but it's still like, it's wild, man. And part of the reason I say, part of it is the excuse constantly given to blacks of racism. That's a false excuse to be angry and be self-righteous and think, oh, this person is guilty of racism, which is something that I can never be guilty of. If you accuse somebody of being guilty of something that you're never guilty of, think about how self-righteous that makes a person.
Well, one of the things that Cosby said that I absolutely loved among many is that he said, listen, black people, you've always had obstacles to overcome. This is not new. Overcome them anyway and be good, decent people. I'm telling you, man, you got to support Cosby more.
I like Cosby. I don't think that I've ever said a bad thing about Cosby except that he's kind of liberal and into the race thing. But
well, anyway, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, be careful
Cosby's
of
innocent.
That idiot from California. He is an absolute Nazi.
But you're an idiot too, and you're every bit as hateful as him, if he is hateful, which he may be. I don't know.
Well, we can disagree on that, James, because we can get into the.
Do you think that you're better than Nazis?
You're a snake. You're a snake. Blah blah blah. Absolutely, 100%.
What makes you better than them?
Because they have an ideology that killed 6 million people, and they even deny that. I don't.
Why would they deny it?
Because they don't want to be stigmatized with the reality of their evil deeds.
So you're just assuming that. You're assuming that.
No, that's just reality.
No, but you don't know. You're not in their minds as to why they deny the Holocaust.
Because they know that it makes them 100% indefensible.
Why are you such a great mind reader about them, but you don't know yourself?
Well, that's your opinion, James. And you're welcome to
the ideology that supports the murder of 60 million babies in the womb over the last 45 years, is that worse than Nazi ideology?
James, we've talked many times. You know that I am 100% against abortion.
Is it? But is it worse? Is it worse?
Don't try to straw man that.
Is it worse than Nazi ideology, which killed 11 million people supposedly?
More than that. What are you talking about? 11 million.
Nazism killed 11 million. I heard.
No, 6 million Jews in the concentration camps and 20 million Germans and 25 million Allied troops.
But you're talking about the war. We're talking about innocent people. The war is different from the innocent people. Okay, fine.
No,
okay, fine. How many people is that? Adding that up, 30 million?
Okay.
30 million, but that's not just the Nazis themselves didn't kill them. What's worse, 30 million or 50 million? Babies. 60 million. 60 million babies.
You know that we both agree that abortion
But what's worse?
terrible,
You said
thing.
that Nazism is bad because it's an ideology that killed, I don't know how an ideology kills, but it's an ideology that killed however many millions of people, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, we have a whole political party, and half of the other one, too, that supports killing babies in the womb. 60 million of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you don't support abortion, you claim. But
Mm-hmm.
which one is worse?
Which one is worse? I don't think one has to be worse than the other. They're both terrible.
And so why are you all hyped up about somebody who's supposedly a Nazi, right? And who hasn't actually killed anyone. He wasn't even around when that thing was happening. But somehow he's worse than a Democrat who calls into my show.
James, I've never supported Democrats. I'm not a Democrat. And
I'm not calling you a Democrat. I
have a 20-year
You have supported
track record,
Democrats,
buddy.
though.
I have a 20-year plus track record of founding GOP PACs here in Arizona.
But how come you don't call in all hyped up about the Democrats who call into my show?
I don't think I've ever heard a Democrat call into your show.
Oh, yeah. Democrats call into my show.
Well, I've spoken against abortion. I've spoken against high taxes.
It's interesting that you're all
you know that.
high and mighty about the Nazis who are all dead by now, I would think. There's some who are alive today who agree with some of the points that they make, but none of them were involved in all that mess. Meanwhile, today, there's murders going on to this day, and you're just blasé about it. Oh, Obama was against it, even though all these things that he did in favor of supporting it.
To this day.
Well, James, again, if you look into those, I mean, again, that idiot from California said that Obama supported it worldwide, and that's 100% a lie. Also,
he got rid of the Mexico City policy, which was a ban on foreign funding of abortions. And I know that you said, oh, it funded other stuff too, but it funded abortions.
That's just how politics works.
No, it's not just how politics works. Obama was for abortion, 100%. And he was 100% for the LGBT agenda. He didn't just hold a flag like Trump did. He put the transgenders in the military. He got rid of don't ask, don't tell. He was for all kinds, and that's evil too. That's killing the souls.
They were already there.
No, he opened it up for them to be open in it. That's opening up to evil. You're making excuses for evil.
James, they were already there. He just made it so they couldn't be discriminated against.
See? Making excuses for evil. Discrimination is a good thing. We're supposed to discriminate against evil for what's right.
And that's,
do you not do that in your own life?
Trying to convince you that racism is patriotism. I mean, that's just idiotic statement.
Discriminating against the LGBT is not, which the so-called LGBT, that's not even what they are, but it's what they think that they are. That's not racism. What in the world are you talking about? You're changing the subject.
I was going back to what the guy in California said. But again, James, you're trying to strawman me and make me seem like I'm for all this liberal crap.
I'm not even trying to do that. I'm just asking you because you're all hyped up. You're brainwashed to be hyped up against these boogeyman Nazis when we have real evil happening right now in America that you are not hyped up about. You're very measured about it.
James, just because I'm not frothing at the mouth, does that mean that I'm not against it?
But you still think Obama was a good president. Anyway, we got to go. But nice talking with you, man.
Have a good day.
The claim is, the claim is that 6 million Jews were killed in the concentration camps. 5 million non-Jews. That's 11 million. So you don't have the numbers of the claims correct. You don't have business being smug.
No. I just asked you where you got 11 million from. That's all I said.
No, you said it was, you added another 25 million here and there.
That was in the war, I said, yeah.
Yeah, the war. You can't blame the Nazis entirely for the war. It takes two to tango, buddy.
James, who was invading? It was the Germans.
I know, but it takes two to tango. That's a war. It's completely different from killing the innocent people. That was
wrong. Again.
No, a war is different from killing innocent people.
James, did the Germans bomb London, innocent people? Yes, they did.
Yes, I guess. I don't know.
Did the Germans sink the Lusitania, the ship, a passenger ship, not a warship? Yes, they did.
Right, but you're just... I know, but those numbers may even be included in this 11 million thing. But you were pulling out numbers from the air. You were talking about 25 million. That's not the Lusitania and London. Anyway, we got to go, man. Nice talking with you.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Guys, I'm going to read your super chats. We are over the top of the hour. There's one line open. I have more excellent calls to get to. More excellent calls. But first, I'm only playing 2 Johnny Respect songs per day. And I'm not sure about Friday. Maybe one on Friday. I'm not sure what's going to happen. But this is another Johnny Respect song. It's a Christian band, Christian punk rock band. Is it punk? It's kind of like somebody said it's kind of rockabilly. This is called The Mind as a Hypocrite. Speaking of hypocrites, am I right? It's from the 1998 album Life Ain't What It Used to Be. I hope you enjoy it. I know I will. I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. Hang tight, guys. Nice. Thank you, guys. Wow, very aggressive music. I can't believe it, says Salam Al-Hebsi. Thank you. Well, actually, that doesn't sound like a compliment necessarily. Sounds like a high school band. Yeah, don't you like? Isn't it great? Hake has the alpha finger. It did indeed take two to tango. You know, like, it's so crazy. What in the world, what in the offspring is this? Asks Nick. Whatever, man. Offspring is trendy. Hake's little music. You know, there's a lot of evil done on many sides, even before the war. World War I was a mess. And then I heard that they really clamped down hard on Germany. And you hear all these people talking about, oh, we got to defeat terrorism. Terrorism is defined as violence in the name of politics. What other kind of violence is there? Give me a break. For the most part, right? In the name of selfishness. There is selfish violence. Not directly related to politics, but politics is just about people and power. People and power. And that's what all the violence is. And so they turn it around and call Americans terrorists. The terrorists do. And that's why you have to just cut through the mess and break it down to right versus wrong. Good versus evil. World War II was kicked off after Germany invaded Poland, a country they had disputes with. That was the excuse for Great Britain and France to declare war on Germany, kicking off a domino effect that started a world war. Lusitania was a trap done on purpose. Germany took out ads in New York newspapers warning people not to board it. That was World War I, actually, not II. Lusitania. Huh. Wow. Okay, guys. Quick super chats. I got to read some super chats. The lines are full. Killian from Boston, Mass. also wants to talk about World War II, who attacked whom, and London and all that stuff. But first, some super chats, guys. Bibby42 says, I feel like Paul and Morgan, the couple, the guests who came on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and the experts, including yours truly, discussed with them. I feel like Paul and Morgan had an agenda. Paul kept trying to have gotcha moments. In no way, I tried to put an H in the way. In no way did they serve anybody. They ran off the show. Word on the street is a divorce is in the works, says Bibi42. Interesting. Not Your Mama gave a super chat and said, the communists like to use human rights instead of conditional rights, as human rights can constantly be redefined. It's also training wheels to more easily accept, or to accept more easily if we don't split infinitives. You guys know what infinitives are? Where are my grammar Nazis at? Oops, you don't end a sentence with at. Where are my grammar Nazis? It's training wheels to accept more easily the core tenets of communism. Yeah. And isn't that so interesting that the devil, the serpent, was the one who mentioned equal? Not God, not Jesus. Kyle B. says, I think Mike Pence is an honest man who made a tough decision that in his mind was the right decision, says Kyle B. I think too many people on our side are looking at the speck in his eye and missing the stick in their own eye, says Kyle B. Interesting statement, man. Yeah, consider that, guys. Look at yourselves. I wonder what Trump and Mike Pence's conversations are like. I know that they don't see eye to eye on that issue. Hydro gave a super chat, says, Joe has a lack of self-awareness that would be funny if it weren't so sad, says Hydro. Don't be sad, man. Don't feel sorry. That's judgment. But thank you, Hydro. Yeah, he does have a lack of self-awareness. Pause and consider this stuff rather than just saying, oh, Jesse's dumb. I respect Hake's unwavering ability to ignore what people think about the music he likes, though. Rock Climber with another super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. There is no poverty in America. Wow, I like that. I like that statement. I think you're right. And he goes on, anyone collecting welfare living in Section 8 housing, has an iPhone, a widescreen TV, is not poor. And Jordans, I might add. Joe is such a beta and is just like a woman, up and down with everything, says Rock Climber. Thank you, man. Appreciate the input. I'll let Joe from Phoenix respond to you tomorrow, man. Yeah, I agree. We don't actually have poverty in America. That's true. Man. Okay, quickly, before I get two calls, I will get to you guys. I have Rick actually in Hampton coming up next. It's an attack on Americans. And so you can talk all you want about, yes, the border situation is bad. Yes, the Afghanistan situation is a joke. And I saw like news reports, like on Tucker Carlson of Fox News and elsewhere, that like some guy who was a trainer, who's supposedly an American soldier, I guess, for these Afghan people over the decades, last couple of decades, said that like 70 to 80% of these Afghan soldiers, not to mention what Trump said, they're getting paid to defend themselves or to defend their country, paid by Americans to defend their own country, which is not supposed to be how it works. But also, they would fail a drug test like they're getting high. Wow, what in the world? I thought that it was just whites who were into drugs. That's what the Mexicans tell me. You know, the illegals who I have interacted with over the years, they say, oh yeah, the immigration situation, the illegal alien situation is a bad thing, but it's because the gabachos, the gringos, the whites, they like their drugs. That's why we keep on coming. Because we're bringing the drugs, we're bringing the crime, we're rapists, and some of us, I assume, are good people. That's what the Mexicans are telling me. And they do say that stuff about themselves. That they're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, they assume, are good people. No different from what Trump said. Well, indeed, it is a worldwide phenomenon, apparently. There is a crisis of, like, lack of men. There's a lack of men, and so they're getting high instead of getting God. But this attack on Americans, on decent Americans, they're calling some of the most decent Americans evil. January 6th was an insurrection. Nobody charged with... What are the different crimes related to, like, insurrection? Insurrection, I think, is an insurrection act. Like, there's an insurrection act, right? Nobody was charged with that. Nobody was charged with conspiracy, I don't think. Maybe there's going to be a few who get charged with so-called conspiracy, that just means, oh, let's make plans and let's be prepared for whatever. Let's be prepared for anything, because Antifa could be there, right? That's a reasonable preparation, but that could be called conspiracy if you do it with a couple of other people. But nobody was charged with, there was something else called S. What's that S word that's kind of like insurrection? Sedition. Nobody was charged with sedition because it wasn't actually that. And I think that they even came out with a statement saying, oh, this was not a coordinated effort after all. Well, it was coordinated by the feds. And maybe Pelosi. It was a setup, right? It was a setup. The FBI finally said it wasn't an insurrection, says Marlene. That's right, Marlene. Smart woman. But even still, what are they doing? They also announced, well, I don't even know if they announced it, but Owen did. Owen Shroyer of InfoWars.com, who's like a nice guy. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't promoted to do anything wrong. He did go in a year or two ago, maybe last year, and according to Tucker Carlson of Fox News, He said mean things to Jerry Nadler, Fat Jerry, Gerald Nadler, who is a phony politician, a Democrat. And he got arrested. And he's also ugly, by the way. Yes, he is. I'm chuckling because people are comparing my Christian music to Offspring. Give me a break. Although, in spite of myself, I did enjoy some of those Offspring music. Owen Shroyer is playing the part of the persecuted white man. Right on. And there's many other people who have it worse than Owen because of this disproportionate attack on decent Americans who didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing. What a mess. By the way, if you heard Jesse Lee Peterson's appearance, and you can probably look it up, I'm sure the podcast is available. It did sound like Offspring in that it was terrible. Well, thank you, Uncle Ted 88. Appreciate the honesty. Well, the whites are the real dindus. We didn't do nothing, but we're under attack. But Jesse Lee Peterson gave Owen Benjamin some excellent advice. I encourage you to listen to it. That was on Friday's War Room, I guess, is the name of Owen Shroyer's show. Whatever happens in life, don't overreact. We get what we need, and we get what we can handle. So handle it right. Be still and don't overreact. That way, you can overcome. Nice. Isn't that so nice? He said more. Check it out. I think that we should clip that. I mean, I don't know what we're allowed to share it on because it's on InfoWars, which is a banned video. What a mess. But it's worth listening to, checking out, guys. I myself may even search it out and share it on my different platforms because it was good advice. Anyway, I got to get to some calls. Rick first though, my whole point of bringing this up, Owen, look at this tweet. Oh my gosh, I had to bleep it because this guy cussed. Tell me if this is a Christian. I don't think that this is a Christian. So this announcement by Owen Shroyer, I'm getting arrested because I showed up at the Capitol and the feds want to arrest me and I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. He has to turn himself in today. And this guy says, get blanked. What does it say? What are the exact words? It's just like 3 words. Oh, get blanked, traitor. Says this guy who's renowned to be supposed to be a nice guy, right? Very famous YouTuber. You guys ever heard of H3H3? It's like a very famous podcast. His name is Ethan Klein. Klein. I don't think that he's related to the Kleins who were in that Philadelphia liberal band 121 that I played last week, the Christians. They were Christians. Those guys were Christians, but even though they may have been liberals. But this guy, I don't think this guy's a Christian, especially not the way he's talking. Ethan Klein. In fact, I think he might be atheist? Is he like a religious Jew? I can't imagine that. But I think he may be one of them. He says, get blanked, traitor. This is a liberal talking. I'm said the patriot. Give me a break. This guy is not a patriot. How are liberals going around calling people traitors? Give me a break. You guys are, by definition, you're traitors. You're not even, isn't Klein a Jewish name? Yeah, I think it is. I think that he is Jewish. But I don't think that he's even religious. But actually, Uncle Ted says he is. But definitely, Satan is his daddy. The nicest guy, he's calling the nicest guy who's pro-America a traitor? Give me a break. What a joke, huh? What a joke. Yeah, Ethan Klein. And he's married to, I know he's married to an Israeli lady, right? Yeah. Who was in the IDF. Because all Israelis have to serve in their military. What a mess. Not a Christian. So, Just such malice, right? Such malice. Terrible. And that's what I mean by our own fellow American culture is so corrupt. And I say fellow American, but these aren't real Americans at heart. They don't have the spirit of America. Due process. The feds are the ones who are corrupt. Everybody knows this. In normal times, even the liberals know that the feds are corrupt. Terrible. Nadler is also a non-Christian, I'm hearing. But anyway, I mean, it's more than just the leadership is part of my point, is we gotta just be a light in a dark place. Owen was never a liberal, so how is he a traitor? Exactly, he's not a traitor. Oh, I keep on mentioning Uncle Ted 88. Those of you on YouTube, somebody asked, who is Uncle Ted? He is a guy over there on Trovo.live. I stream on multiple platforms, Trovo.live/The Hake Report, DLive.tv, Periscope, which is Twitter, and YouTube, and even I'm on Twitch. Shout out to the Twitch people and to Facebook. Is Facebook in the chat? Anyway, I got to get to Rick in Hampton, Virginia. He wants to talk about dating older women. Wow. How'd this topic come up? What's up, Rick? Hey.
My brother, man. How y'all doing? Love you guys, man.
Love you too, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, me and Mom had an interesting conversation this weekend, man. We was talking about, why men can date younger women and why women can't. And I explained it to her the same what Jesse was saying, because when he had that couple...
Stay close to your phone, Rick.
Okay, can you hear me? What about now, James? Can you hear me?
It's a little rough, but
Hello?
we're going to try it. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, yeah. You remember the couple who Jesse had on the show today?
Yes.
And you sort of looked at them, it seemed like it has an ego. They really do. They try and tame it.
Right.
But a lot of times without the right teaching, they don't know how to tame it.
Yeah, they are on an ego trip, and they try to project a false humility, but they don't know how. You're so right about that. They are on an ego trip. They're educated.
Yeah.
Indoctrinated.
Women go through that. Especially the educated ones, and then let's say like, well, I'm blessed. My wife is pretty. And young guys tend to try to say she's pretty and stuff. I said, well, take that as a blessing and keep on rolling. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I don't care how beautiful a woman is. The fact is she's still old. And most men like younger women. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
And, and when when a 50 dates a 35-year-old man, even the relationship looks odd. Your spirit don't even sink in, because I was in that situation before. And I was at the time 21. And I was trying to date a girl that was 28 years old. But it was something in my spirit wouldn't allow me to pursue that relationship.
Yeah, that's true. I remember being 27 and hanging out with a 34-year-old, and I knew in the back of my mind that it wasn't going to work out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's something in your spirit.
Yep. I knew it was wrong.
With it, even though she's a female. And and I tell my son, he's 29, I said, don't date a at 45 years old. Keep a lady your age, or if you do go older, no more than 2 years old, man.
Yeah, and even that is, there's no need for it. There is no need for it. I think it's because of desperation that people fall. I think most people get married out of desperation, and that too is a sign of desperation, which is not.
Yeah,
you're supposed to love God more, love what's right more, and don't get yourself into a mess.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Most people get married because they have sex legally. Well, I want God looking over my shoulder, so if I get married, we'd be cool.
Yeah.
So they go get married, and they've been having sex all the time. They never got a chance to really learn each other, who they really are.
Right.
And then when they get married, they want to claim, she did a 3-6, or he did a 3-6. Well, the signs were there, but you was in a fallen state. That's Jesse. And you and Jesse said,
Yeah. That's interesting, man. It's so crazy too that women are such intellectuals, or the female mind, or the selfish, not believing in God mindset is so willing to do what's wrong and then be like, I can't tell you why this is wrong or that's wrong. That's why you are not supposed to get into your intellect because you'll start rationalizing anything.
Oh, yes, but like you said, you're college-educated women. Now, just imagine if a woman's 50 and she marries a 35-year-old guy, don't have any college at all, but he works hard. Man, it would be very hard for her to come under his leadership. It'd be almost impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
You know, and oh, one more thing there, Hake. What do you think about Haiti, man? Another discussion came up about Haiti and Dominican Republic.
You know what? What's going on? I've lost track. I remember reading some news about that a week or two ago, but since then I've forgotten all about them.
Well, of course, you know, they had an earthquake down there, and then the Dominican Republic is prospering, but yet Haiti is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. And then your left people are trying to say it's the United States, it's the Europeans into. So when is Haiti going to take charge of themselves? Most of their money comes from nations donating to them.
That's ridiculous. You know, man, it's shameful.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's embarrassing.
And, it just like I had one guy says if they force him to take the vaccine shot, he's going back to Haiti. I said, I'll take the vaccine shot before I go live in Haiti.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's really a tough one. Jeez.
I mean, think about it. You go down Haiti. There's no way you can take care of yourself. They don't even have good sanitation systems.
True. That's true.
You know, I mean, you go down there, you can't help. I mean, they have it. You know, they just. I don't know. Haiti ain't never been able to build waterways, roads, or anything. And then they blame it all on racism. France has been gone from Haiti since 1804.
Wow.
And y'all can't come up with a way to build roads and build y'all economy with the resources y'all have. A lot of it is corrupt government leaders.
Yeah.
They elect. So they try and blame it on the U.S. That the U.S.
I'm sure that there's a little bit of truth to some of that, but these people, they need responsibility. That's what they're lacking.
Right. There was groups that said they was going out and trying to help the Haitians plant food and stuff. There was a guy on YouTube I was listening to. Man, he did a very good perspective on it because you know how the media, they don't ever portray the whole truth. There's always turned to make it think it's racist.
Yeah.
So he turned it around and said like, they even enslaved the Dominicans. But you'll never hear the media talks about that.
That's interesting. And, you know, the Clintons. And the Dominican is like the other bigger half of that island,
they're
right?
on the east side of the island.
Right.
And Haiti's on the west side.
Somebody said that your phone is like a scissor kick to the eardrums. Because when you talk, it gets all crunchy. It's like...
Oh. Is it sounding better now?
I don't know, man. Your phone is always like this. I've just learned to put up with it.
I'm sorry, James, man. I guess maybe I may talk too loud and just make sure you hear me.
You might be talking too hard into the receiver and like breathing into it because it makes a big, rough sound.
Different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do try to talk loud, so let me try and talk a little soft, man. Get my
but anyway,
point across.
I appreciate it though, man. And you know, there has been a lot of corruption though because even the Clintons, didn't they raise money for Haiti? And then they did wrong by them?
They never saw it.
Yeah.
They never saw the money.
Yeah.
And, you know, and to be no country shouldn't depend on donations from another country to survive.
Yeah.
That's just my humble opinion.
I agree, man.
You know,
anyway.
I mean, you depend on...
It's great to hear from you, Rick. I appreciate you, man. Happy Men's History Month to you.
Hey, you too. Happy Men's History Month to you, Nick, Chris, Daniel, Jesse, all the brothers there.
We thank you.
Anybody out.
On their behalf, I thank you.
We love you guys and keep up the good work.
All right. Take care.
Love y'all. Be good.
Bye. Man, let me quickly get to Liana in Florida. I talked to Liana before. Liana, how are you doing?
Hey, Hake. I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine too. Thank you.
Good. Happy Men's History Month.
Thank you. Same to you. Happy Men's History Month to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to call and explain, because another lady commented on your show that she liked what I was asking Jesse, and I've called Jesse a few times because I have questions, and I really appreciate his perspective, of his Christian perspective, And that, I call and I ask, but I always ask him, was I disrespectful? Was I, because I don't want to be disrespectful. And I agree with a lot that he says. I've never said those words before. I've never said, that a man, a husband should control his wife, and that's a good thing. I've never said that in my life. I've never heard that in my life. And so that's why I ask, because it's so counterintuitive to me, but I know that it's the truth.
Nice.
So yeah, I wanted to say that. And I wanted to say, I appreciate, the music that you play. My fiance and I, we like metal, and so I really like I know some other Christian metal bands that are really good as well. Maybe I'll recommend a few to you.
Okay.
It's great. I love the music.
Nice.
And something I wanted to mention as well about women controlling men. Something happened this past week. The church that my parents go to, there was infidelity with the pastor again. And this time, the guy that...
that means, are you saying that it came out that he cheated on his wife?
Yes.
Okay.
For not the first time, with the wife of another person, a family that goes there.
Wow.
That's a member of the church.
What a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. But the guy, the husband of the wife that cheated on him, he went up on the pulpit. He made a whole drama, a whole scene. He got the mic from the pastor. He did this whole thing. And
is that how it came out?
Yeah.
So the husband who got cheated on, he pulled this stunt, and that's how word got out.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, word had already gotten out before, because it's not the first time.
Man, what a mess.
And the
Terrible.
church voted for him not to be the pastor anymore. But the leaders or whatever of the Baptist organization didn't allow the vote, just disregarded their vote.
Okay.
The members of the church voted for him not to be the pastor.
The local
He'll get his
church,
pension.
but then the people above, the people who kind of decide what goes on, they didn't go along with that. Interesting.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy. And so that happened, and we were talking about it over the weekend, and I just wanted to mention something, because my parents were talking about it, and my parents we're Christian. My dad, my dad's not a slut maker. My mom's not a slut. They've only been together. I've seen them personally. I've over the years, my dad has never looked at another woman in front of my mom out of respect. And I've seen him, do that, because that's whatever. Looking is fine. But anyways, my point is just that in speaking about this whole situation, even my father, who is, a Christian man, he was like, oh, if that ever, oh my gosh, I can't imagine how that would feel if that ever happened to us. And then
like
my
the
mom
cheating
was like,
situation?
Cheating, a spouse cheating, being unfaithful.
Yeah.
Just because this all ties into how women control men, but I also think it's not intentional sometimes, because and I understand some women do that intentionally. Some women are, real sluts, and they're really nasty, and they want to control men, and they want that power, and that's obvious. That's gross. But with Christian women, it's not so obvious, because we're not like that. We're not out there. We're not dressing like that. We're not doing those things. We don't want to control men, but we end up falling into that as well, because it's the way of the world, and nobody in the church is talking about this besides Jesse.
Yeah, I don't even think it's just the way of the world. I think it's just in kind of an inherent fallen state situation with women, because that's how Eve did Adam, and that's how women do with men, and men tend to fall to the temptations in different things. And so it becomes an upside down world where Satan is in charge of the woman, and the woman is in charge of the man, and the man is in charge of nothing. He's just a mess. Even
if the woman doesn't want to be, even if the woman doesn't understand that she is, because in the church, a lot of the women, we don't want to be the leaders. We don't want to work outside of the home. We don't want to do these things. But there's some men who do want that.
I mean, it's not
so
even the working situation. That's just a physical
right.
aspect.
I'm just explaining.
Yeah, but
yeah.
there are ways. I think the deception of the heart is really deep, and that's why you have to always be watching, because you'll realize
Definitely.
that you do have corrupt desires in you.
Yes, and it's not. But that's my point. It's not just the women that are forcing or corrupting, men. It's men themselves too. It's in their heart. Because let me give this example. My dad, speaking about that whole thing, that whole situation, my dad was saying, God forbid, if that ever happened with us, I would kill him. I would just kill the guy. How dare a guy do that, especially the pastor, especially this or that, or, and I would kill him. I would, and
jeez.
And I've forgiven my dad. I've told him about Jesse. I've explained to him some of these concepts and things, and he doesn't get it. But it's okay.
I mean, it's honestly a natural reaction to want to kill the person who cheated. It's a natural reaction.
He wanted to kill the guy. No, not the wife.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. The person who.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's another way that, I guess women control men. But it's not that my mom is forcing him to kill. She didn't say for him to go kill a guy, and she said, "No, you wouldn't do that. No, don't talk like that." She doesn't want him like that, But she wants him to be strong. She wants him to be.
They're living in their imagination, though, because the situation is neither of them that they know of have cheated on each other. They're just talking what if. So it sounds like she is trying to control him by saying, "No, don't kill the guy I cheated with."
No.
But she didn't even cheat with him. But she is trying to control him by saying, "No, be nice to the guy that I
she didn't say
theoretically cheated with."
No, she didn't. No. Come on, Hake. She's not trying to control him. She's just trying to tell him, that's evil. You wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go and kill the woman if
I think in the Old Testament, the man could kill the person who cheated on who his wife cheated on him with.
No, he could kill his wife.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why Jesus.
No, they killed the other guy
Don't
too.
Stone her.
Yeah, they killed the other guy too.
No, they never killed the men. No, they never killed the men.
Yes,
they would
did.
Stone the wife.
They cheated. They killed both.
They did kill the men. I've never read that, but I.
Yeah, are you talking about Are you talking about where Jesus encountered the people, or are you talking about when the law was written?
I don't remember the Old Testament, how the law was written, if it's the man and the woman that died. But I do remember in the New Testament when Jesus encountered it, they were trying to stone the woman. The man was nowhere.
Right. They don't mention the man.
And we know.
But I'm talking about the Old Testament. So you're arguing with me from a place of ignorance. You remind me of the.
No, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not arguing.
No, you said that you disputed my point that they wanted to kill the man who the adulterer too.
Because I know in the New Testament what happened, and I know also from anthropology, they didn't really tend to go after the man.
What anthropology? Anthropology doesn't tell you what the law said.
It's
the Old
study
Testament
of
law.
culture and society
Somebody
throughout
dig
time.
it up. See, you are arguing with me from ignorance.
Okay, that's not my point.
Educated woman.
I'm not trying to argue with you.
Educated
yes, I am
woman.
an educated woman. Yes.
That's funny.
My point was just that even when women don't want to control men, it's just it just ends up being like that because men allow it. Because they get so in their feelings that, this is mine, she's my wife, and if this ever happens, I'm going to kill the guy,
But I don't think that's the woman controlling the man just because he wants to kill the guy who cheated with her. That's not a woman.
But that's a form of.
It's being controlled by rage, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good example. Maybe it is.
Well, it's being controlled by.
Are you saying that your dad is a simp?
Yes.
Oh, dang. You're cold.
I've told that to his face.
Man, you shouldn't go on air and call your dad a simp.
I mean,
You women.
Jesse says tell the truth.
I know, but you have to tell the truth in love and sometimes
No
hold
one
your
knows my
tongue.
dad on this show.
What?
No one knows my dad. He would.
You're still gossiping.
I'm not gossiping. I'm giving an example of something that happened to explain how,
I don't know.
Even.
But
Yes,
I think that I think you ladies learn something, and then you criticizing your fathers and different men about it. Like you go around calling people betas and stuff like that. It's not very ladylike.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's just something to check into for yourself, because I'm not around you. I don't see how you are, but I'm hearing how you are right now, and it doesn't quite sound right.
Okay, well,
This seems like a roundabout way. This seems like a roundabout way to be like, men are at fault too, as if we don't know that.
No, that wasn't my point at all. But of course, I mean, you can understand it how you want to, but that wasn't my point at all. My point was just that.
Yeah, your point was that men want women to control them.
No, that's not my point. My point is that men allow women to control them.
What's
even
the difference
when women
between
don't
what I
want
said and
to.
what you said?
No, that's not. No, it's different.
How is it different from men wanting women to control them to men allowing women to control them?
It's different because there's some women who don't want to control men.
You just want to argue.
Point. No, I'm not trying to argue.
See, you're even arguing with me about wanting to argue.
Because you're accusing me of these things. I mean, how am I going to defend myself? I don't understand.
Sometimes you don't have to defend yourself.
Okay, so I'm just going to let you bulldoze all over me? No, absolutely not. No.
Anyway, I wish you and your fiancé well.
Thank you. We're doing very well.
Nice. But maybe you guys got to grow out of the metal. How old are you again?
I'm 26.
Okay. That's all right. It's okay to still be into metal at 26.
Yeah. You think we'll grow out of it? I don't know. I like the metal. I still watch the concert.
I like it all too, to be honest, but I'm not that into it anymore. I got a job.
Well, yeah, I have a job too. So does my fiance.
Nice.
So, I mean, we both have jobs.
Right.
We're not. We like metal because of the way the music is. It's more aggressive. It's not as, pop is just, it actually had meaning. The music today, it's just all about sex and drugs, and it has no meaning. I mean, Metallica actually had meaning in their songs, they went to, I don't know if you ever saw that concert where they went to Russia when I think it was when the wall went down. Did you see that concert?
I didn't. I've never seen a Metallica concert, no. So they had meaning. I heard that they sang that song Unforgiven. It's about a slave, right? Unforgiven?
I'm not
never
sure.
Free, never me. Such a good song. Monsters of Rock, 1991 in Russia. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that show is awesome. It's the people are so crazy there, and
nice.
They had I don't know if it's like the federal police or something, but they had like the police there or the military there, and that couldn't even they didn't want people moshing, but people did that anyways, and because they didn't know what it was. It was new to Russia as far as I know. Like they didn't allow artists to go in, and especially an American artist, and the crowd had American flags. It's really cool.
All right.
It's a really good show.
I appreciate the tip, Liana. It's great to hear from you again.
You too.
Take care.
And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to argue with you.
No worries. I'm kind of messing around with you, but there is something funny going on, and I'm not sure what it is. But take care.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll ask God about it, and hopefully,
all right.
My fiance will help me out of the hell too.
Nice. Right? Take care.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye. Man. Oh, quick tip on Larry Elder. This is an answer for Mark in Santa Monica, California. William in California has an answer for us. William, how are you doing?
It's confirmed. Yeah, I'm doing good. How was your weekend?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, it is confirmed, and happy Men's History Month.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's confirmed. He verbally said it, and I was kind of worried about him saying this, but he says, "Hey," he said two things. Yes, sanctuary is out the window before his first cup of coffee.
Okay, and so that means the illegals.
Driver's license.
Yeah.
And the driver's license. He says he actually verbally said, "I don't know how hard that's going to be for me to do, but if I could get that done, that'll be done too." Now, if anybody knows anything, that has a lot to do with the voter fraud with the illegals and the undocumented voting in California.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get a driver license in California, are you automatically registered to vote too?
Well, you've voted before. They don't make you bring your birth certificate
I know.
and proof of citizenship.
But they register you to vote when you get a driver license. And they're talking about, I mean, it's been more than a decade that they've been giving driver licenses to illegals.
Yeah, it started, I think it started in around maybe about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
They started giving them license.
Yep.
And everything.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
I appreciate you with the tip. Thanks, man.
I see you was struggling a little bit last week. I meant to tell you last week you were struggling a little bit with some of that Van Halen history.
Van Halen history. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little. It's just you was like, oh, wait a minute, is it David Lee Roth? It was Sammy Hagar, and he replaced it David Lee Roth, and you was looking for a song by them, and one of their most popular was Panama.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, and let's give a Men's History Month to let's see, let's go with Eugene Fluckey, Commander Fluckey.
Okay.
The one that had more tonnage sunk in the bottom of the sea than any submarine skipper. Never lost one sailor. His sailors were the ones who actually sunk a train.
Wow.
So the younger guys need to probably look at his documentary. It's really exciting. They had, I think his sailors came off of their submarine and touched on one of the Japanese islands, some of the first people that actually put foot on ground. And they wanted to, what they did is they had a mission to sink a train. And they did. And they sunk a lot of stuff, carriers, frigates, destroyers, other submarines. And what's amazing about Commander Fluckey is he never lost one sailor.
Wow.
And his submarine is the first submarine to have rockets.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
Rear Admiral
really
Rear Admiral Eugene B. Fluckey, Fluckey.
Yeah.
1913 to 2007. Lucky Fluckey.
Yeah, 2007 he passed away. Yes,
okay.
At 93 years old. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They got some good Americans in this country. We have some good men in this country. The subject about the women and everything, I mean, the guys that I know, the ones that I hang out with, we kind of just don't respond to them. That I don't let women lead me. I mean, I don't even let my mother do that. I take care of my mother. I think if she needs something, I take care of her. I don't even talk to her about what.
You got to watch out because they have sneaky ways of controlling men without even it being explicit sometimes. So,
yeah, well, I mean,
alert.
You remember we were talking about this last week, and then another individual had to jump on your show and attack me and all of that because I'm like, I don't respond to that too much because this is your show.
Right.
This is your show, and we have some very important topics to talk about,
True.
and that is not one of them.
Yeah.
It's like, what is your obsession with me?
Yep.
And I mean, those are the very women that, like you said, men like younger women. Those are the very women that you, at the barbecue, you just walk past them.
Okay.
You just walk past them, and you just don't even say anything to them because really, like Joe from Phoenix was talking about the Holocaust, he really needs to look at the abortion
seriously
rate in the black community because if you look at that along with how many there have been killed by each other.
Yeah. Let's look at the evil going on to this day.
You can't. That's right. You
Yeah.
can look at those numbers and compare them to what Hitler did. You really can. And they're actually talking about by 2055, black people make up 13% of the population in the United States of America. They said by 2025, going at the rate that they're going right now, they will be 6% of the population.
That is amazing.
Like only 3% above gay people.
Yikes.
So they're not worried about us like people think.
Right. Interesting, man. Terrible.
You know, and you put the lesbian,
And they're not going to be ADOS.
you put the
African
lesbian in the
descendants of
picture,
slaves.
James. You put that lesbian in the picture with those same sex, with those babies and strollers. You put all of that, roll it up, and you got us knocked down to 6%.
Yeah, what a mess. I appreciate it, William. It's great to hear from you, man. Take care.
You too, man. You guys, and God bless everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Killian in Boston, Mass. Been on hold forever. What's up, man?
Guten Morgen, mein Kameraden.
Yes. Guten Tag.
I had to jump on this World War II mess that Joe brought up.
Nice.
Germany actually did not start World War II. It was actually the international banks that declared war on Germany first.
International banks can declare war on Germany?
Yeah. Well, they controlled America and England at the time.
So did they themselves declare war as international banks, or did they have other countries declare war against Germany?
Well, they controlled those countries, so that's why they declared war on them. And he brought up Germany invading Poland.
So are you saying that those countries declared war on Germany, not the other way around?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I mean, there's economic war. You can look up newspaper articles saying that there was a worldwide boycott on German goods.
I understand. I understand there was. I understand that there was in a manner of speaking, there was like an undeclared war against Germany at the end of World War II, for example. I mean, World War I. Like, it was so unjust, from what I understand. Like, they made Germany not even be allowed to really have a country for.
Yeah, it was the debauchery capital of the world.
But I mean, like, explicitly declaring war.
Well, explicitly, Germany declared war on Poland, but a lot of people aren't taught in schools why they declared war on Poland. The reason why they invaded Poland was because there were a lot of German territories, explicitly Danzig, where there was still a large German population, and the local communists and police forces were literally butchering German ethnic minorities.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if America went to war against Mexico,
right,
and they lost, and California was given to Mexico, and then Mexican police were murdering white Americans in California. Yeah. And then years later, America decided to declare war on California.
There is a time to declare war. I'm not saying there isn't. Interesting, man.
Basically, what it all boils down to is the new religion of the state that has developed in the past 50, 60, 70 years since the end of World War II, where basically the new religion is very seductive. They tell you that there's no original sin, and they promote degeneracy and sin. And the only original sin is Nazism.
Yeah, racism. Yeah.
I mean, you can.
They actually come out and call America's original sin slavery and genocide, which is not even true.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
I mean, basically, you can blaspheme against Jesus all day.
Yep.
And nobody bats an eye. But if you blaspheme against the Holocaust, you're going to get your bank accounts taken away. You're going to be banned from the internet.
You didn't even have to do that and they'll take it away. But you're right. True.
It's a new religion. It's a clever imitation of Christianity.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, Hitler is the new devil. The 6 million Jews are the Redeemer. Auschwitz is the cross. and therefore Jews are the new God.
Man. Yeah, it is. Satan is deceptive.
It's the new religion.
Yeah, it's a false version of morals.
I mean, it's very clever how they copy Christianity. Like, I mean, they got the basic blueprint down, but it's all. I mean, the devil's pretty clever.
Yeah, and that's why you can't be into your intellect, because your intellect is darkness and is confusion, and it will rationalize anything. You're led away by your own evil desires
that are rationalized.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to fight the good fight and spread the word that the new religion is the religion of the Antichrist. And, for all my buddies on 4chan, I want to give a shout out. Say, I hate the Antichrist.
Okay. Well, I wish you well, Killian. Thanks, man. Continue to heal up too, man.
Yeah, no, I'm getting there.
Good. It's good to hear you. Take care.
You as well.
Man, I wanted to get to all of the calls, but guys, I cannot get to you. Chuck in Detroit, Michigan. He was on hold forever, wanted to know, what's the N-word mean to you? I'll have to answer that question tomorrow, Chuck. Mays in Dayton, Ohio had a question for Liana regarding the women's role. Ooh, Mays. And Rock Climber gave a super chat, said, when you point one finger, there are always three pointing back at you. The government should take a look at themselves when they call people so-called insurrectionists. They have done that to many countries in the name of so-called democracy, including our own. I add. Thank you, Rock Climber. Guys, this is the end of the show. TheHakeReport.com. And I don't have any special hand-picked music, so you enjoy either Cold Step or that other one. I'll let you know. Thanks, guys, and take care.
Wow.